Yo guys, now that the Euros and the Copa America are done, we need to talk about the Ballon d'Or race. Now this year's race has created a lot of division between fans, and I feel like a lot of that has to do with people not knowing how to judge who should get the award after Messi and Ronaldo's dominance. You've got a lot of people saying that football has fell off and that's a poor year in terms of individual performances by players. I don't necessarily agree with this narrative and will explain why, but in this video we'll make the cases for and against Bellingham, Rodri and Vinicius Jr, who I feel are the top three in this year's race. I'll give my opinion on who should win the award and discuss the state of Ballon d'Or voting these days in terms of how should we judge who is considered the best player in the world. Is this based on technical ability, performances, collective trophies, or just simply being the best player on the best team? Before I get into the cases for and against the top three, we need to give honourable mentions to Lautaro Martinez, Harry Kane, Phil Foden, Florian Wirtz and Kylian Mbappe. They've all had great individual seasons, but in terms of how we judge the Ballon d'Or in 2024, they just haven't done enough. I actually feel in terms of pure individual performances, Harry Kane can feel unlucky because he's coming off a season of scoring 47 goals but didn't win anything with Bayern and England. This is one of the aspects of voting that we will discuss later on. Vinicius finished the season with 26 goals and 11 assists in 48 games. He led Real Madrid to the Champions League, scoring against Leipzig, twice against Bayern Munich and in the final against Dortmund. He also got 5 assists in the Champions League and was voted player of the tournament. He scored 15 and 26 in La Liga as Real Madrid won the title and a hat-trick in the Spanish Super Cup final against Barcelona. His numbers may not sound mind-blowing, but he was injured for large parts of the season and still managed to put up similar numbers to Bellingham. He was definitely Real Madrid's most impactful player, especially in the Champions League knockout stages where he seemed to go up a level and was coming in at the clutch on many occasions. Another reason that makes Vinicius worthy of the Ballon d'Or is he passes the eye test. I don't care what anyone says, but you can't deny that Vinny has the technical ability and the flair that you would associate with the quote-unquote best player in the world. He may not be as smooth as a Neymar or Ronaldinho, but we need to respect his ability to entertain and get fans off their seats. As much as stats are important, I do feel that there has to be some importance placed on a player's technical ability. I feel this is one of the reasons against Erling Haaland winning the Ballon d'Or last year. Don't get me wrong, Haaland is a beast, but you can't really say he's the best player in the world when you've got pundits comparing his technical ability outside of finishing to that of a League 2 player.
The levels of his general play is so poor. It's almost like a League 2 player. It is so poor.
Now I don't agree with Roy Keane and found his comments extremely disrespectful, but there has to be some importance placed on the player's overall ability as well as the stats. Now a big reason against Vinicius winning the award is Brazil not winning the Copa America. He was suspended for the game against Uruguay in the quarter-final, but ultimately it was his fault for not being there for his team, and he's never really been able to perform for his country like he does for Real Madrid, and this hurts his case because being able to do it for your club and internationally is an important factor, and the fact that he missed a lot of games and his numbers aren't exceptional also hurts his case. I've seen people say that football has fallen off and Vinny winning the Ballon d'Or would show why football is not what it used to be and blah blah blah. Now I'll address this argument a bit later, but bear in mind Vinicius finished the season with 37 goal contributions. Now here are some players who won the Ballon d'Or with less goals and assists than Vinicius Jr. Kaká in 2007 won the Ballon d'Or with 29, Ronaldinho with 30, Shevchenko with 33 and R9 with 9. Yes, 9 goal contributions. Granted he was injured the whole season and came back to lead Brazil to the World Cup, scoring 8 goals including 2 in the final, but still no player in today's climate is winning the Ballon d'Or based off just one international tournament. I feel the biggest reason most people don't want Vinicius to win isn't for footballing reasons. He's such a polarising figure and most people can't stand him because he's unapologetically himself. Personally, I don't mind. At the end of the day, football is entertainment, but if your reason for not wanting him to win the award is because he annoys you, then you simply need to grow up. Now if you ask someone in January who's most likely to win the Ballon d'Or, they probably would have told you either Jude Bellingham or Harry Kane. Jude's first half of the season was ridiculous, and it seemed like every game that you watched Real Madrid, this guy was scoring a last-minute winner. He was the clear front runner for the award, and he's put up some insane numbers for a midfielder this season. 27 goals, 17 assists, while winning La Liga, Champions League and the Spanish Super Cup in his first season at the biggest club in the world. If any player can claim to have the clutch gene, definitely Jude Bellingham. He scored the equaliser in October against Barcelona before Real went on to win. He scored the winner against Barca in April, the winner against Getafe, and let's not forget a last-minute overhead kick against Slovakia to keep England in the Euros. That's only to name a few from this past season. season. Jude had a stronger La Liga campaign than Vinicius and was probably the main reason for Real Madrid winning the title. Similar to Vinicius, the fact that Jude wasn't able to win an international tournament has made it more difficult for him to win the award. He didn't have a great tournament, and a lot of that has to do with how he was misprofiled by Southgate and the English media. Playing as a number 10, he was expected to be the creator and the star man in England's team, but that's just not what he is. His best attributes are his ability to arrive in the box, tackling and dribbling out of tight situations. I actually believe that had Cole Palmer started in the 10 with Bellingham as an 8, then England would have won the Euros, because Palmer offers way more in that position than Bellingham, and he can create for himself and others, and is way more involved in games. In terms of the eye test, Jude is a difficult player to judge. Sometimes it looks like his second touch is a slide tackle due to how heavy his first touch is at times. Other times he shows amazing skill to get out of tight situations or produces incredible goals and moments. I find it funny when people compare him to Zidane because they are such different players. Jude also disappears a lot of games, but he may cover this up by scoring a goal. For example, the game against Slovakia, he was having a very quiet game and Southgate did think about subbing him off. He ended up scoring and no one will remember the fact that it was a bad performance without the goal. And he had a strong start to the season, whereas Vinicius had a strong finish to the season, and the recency bias may lead to Vinicius winning the award instead of Jude. Rodri is probably the most single valuable player in world football. You only need to look at how Man City played without him to see this. Without Rodri, Man City lost 3 games and drew 1. But when he was playing, he went on a 74-game unbeaten run when he was on the pitch for Man City in Spain. He finished the season with 12 goals and 15 assists. He won the best player at the Euros, the Nations League and the Club World Cup. His collective trophies include the Premier League, the Euros, the UEFA Super Cup and the Club World Cup. He's the best at what he does in terms of dictating play and controlling games, but he's even now scoring goals as well. Although he's technically a defensive midfielder, he can do it all in midfield. Getting 27 goal contributions from a defensive midfielder is incredible. For comparison, when Luka Modric won the Ballon d'Or in 2018, he won it with only 13 goal contributions. I would say that Rodri has done more to win it this year than Modric did in 2018, who probably should have lost to Ronaldo. He's also shown that he can show up for his team when it matters, scoring important goals such as the equaliser versus Georgia, the winner versus Sheffield United, and the equaliser against Chelsea twice. Rodri may not be the best player in his teams, but he's the most important player in both Spain and Man City's system. He makes every other player around him look better. Phil Foden had an amazing season at City, but that's due to someone like Rodri providing the passes that allow him to shine. You only need to look at how both De Bruyne and Foden played for their countries to prove this. If you could hypothetically put Rodri into Belgium or England's team, I guarantee both De Bruyne and Foden would have had better tournaments this summer. That's how influential Rodri is. The problem with that is that in the process of making his teammates look good, he becomes underappreciated. The fact that he's a central midfielder means it's unlikely he'll win the Ballon d'Or. Only 3 midfielders have ever won the award. I'm not counting midfielders such as Kaká, Zidane or Platini because they were attacking midfielders rather than a traditional number 6 or a number 8. You could also dispute whether he was actually the best player at the Euros. I actually think Fabian Ruiz was Spain's best player at the Euros, and the fact that Rodri was taken off at half time for Zubimendi in the final before they went on to win is an argument that could be used against him. Finally, Rodri is just not the type of player most people associate with the best player in the world. He isn't what would be considered cool, and kids aren't tucking in their shirts pretending to be Rodri. Well, maybe they are in Spain, I don't know. He plays the game in an almost robotic way. He's basically Pep Guardiola on the field, and for some fans this is great and for others not so much. Now, having said all of that, my choice to win would probably be Vinicius, just in terms of his impacts for Real Madrid and carrying them to the Champions League. He's got the performances, the stats and the trophies to back it up, but I honestly feel that both Jude and Rodri would deserve the award. Also, it just depends on what your perception of how the Ballon d'Or should be decided. I feel that the award has become too team centric recently, and Ronaldo and Messi are probably both to blame for this, because their stats and performances were both so good and ridiculous that the only way to differentiate them was their collective trophies and who won the most with their team. It's a lazy way of voting rather than watching the individual performances for me. At the end of the day, it's an individual award and should reward the player with the best individual performance. Harry Kane scored 47 goals this season, yet basically has no chance because he didn't win a trophy. This didn't always used to be the case. George Weah won the Ballon d'Or with 18 goals in 53 games in 1995. He only won 2 French Cups that season and finished as the Champions League top scorer Ronaldo with 7 goals. He won the trophy because he was considered the best due to his individual performances. In 2024, he would have had no chance of winning the award. Because of Ronaldo and Messi, people's standards have become unrealistic. These were two players who reached a level that was never seen before. Football has now returned to its normal level, yet fans are still judging players on how they would judge Ronaldo and Messi. But then how should we judge who is considered the best in the world? I'd personally say there needs to be more importance placed on individual performance. Secondly, we should look at their stats and then their collective trophies. Simply being the best player on the best team is too lazy of a way to decide the best player. Otherwise, we should just give the trophy to the best player on the team who wins the Champions League or the World Cup. Thanks for watching. If you got this far, guys, let me know in the comments who you think should win the Ballon d'Or and how do you judge who deserves the award. The channel's nearly at 100 subs, so if you enjoyed, please hit the like and subscribe to help us get there. I'm looking to upload a lot more in the next coming months, so there'll be more videos. But anyway, thanks and catch you in the next one.